First off tonight, we have a public hearing for a zoning variation. We'll start off, well, in the fact that. We have supporting material for variation order number 1017-2, lot 3, block 190, plan 879 PLTO, North Division, 178 Madison Drive. Go to administration. Danny?
Hello, we have a notice to submit a variation for 178 Madison Drive, variation 1017-25 to rebuild an accessory building. The required frontage yard, reducing their front yard requirements from 25 feet to 20. They're reducing the side yard requirements from 3 feet to 1 feet and single detached residential.
Thank you. So with that, we're going to receive representation that is supporting this move, the variation order for 178 Madison Drive. If anybody is in the room and wishes to speak to supporting 178 Madison Drive variation. Second time, anybody here to support variation for 178 Madison Drive? Third and final call. Supporting documents, supporting comments for 178 Madison Drive. Next will go anybody opposed to the variation order for 178 Madison Drive. Please come forward to the table. Anyone opposed to the variation order for 178 Madison Drive, please step forward. Third and final time, any opposition for 178 Madison Drive variation order? Please step forward. Seeing none, we'll adjourn, call for adjournment. Councillor Valentino, Deputy Mayor Fitzpatrick, all in favor? Carried. Regular meeting of council to order at 7:04 p.m. And I'd like to also, next, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 5 territory and that the city of Thompson is located on the ancestral lands of the Oasis Cree Nation. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation and collaboration. Thank you. Next, approval of the agenda. Deputy Mayor Fitzpatrick, Councillor Valentino, all in favor? I would like to acknowledge that we have Councillor Sandra Oberdorfer on Zoom tonight. Councillor Lundmark is on leave. Councillor McIver has sent regrets.
And so it's Councillor Saw.
Pardon?
And Councillor Saw.
And Councillor Saw. That's it. Next, we're going into adoption of minutes. 4.1 is adoption of regular minutes, a regular meeting of council, June the 9th, 2025. Resolution 2025-101, moved by Deputy Mayor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, June 9th, 2025, be adopted as circulated. Administration, any comments?
Nothing further.
Councillor or Deputy Mayor Fitzpatrick,
Nothing
comments?
further, Mayor.
Other comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Four point two is adoption of minutes for Committee of the Whole, June 16th, 2025. Resolution 2025-102, moved by Deputy Mayor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of council held in Council Chamber, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, June 16th, 2024, be adopted as circulated. Administration.
Nothing further.
Deputy Mayor,
Nothing further here.
other councillors, comments? Seeing none, call for the question, all in favor? Duncan, I didn't learn it, thank you. So next is always the best part of, this meeting, that we get to recognize some of our citizens that come forward to this. So I'm just gonna read this out here because this is, so exciting. And so this evening, we are proud to recognize Ken Fitz and Dilshan Segu for their outstanding achievements in winning the boys doubles titles at the Manitoba High School Athletic Association's Badminton Provincial Championships. To earn their spot at provincials, Ken and Dilshan had to finish in the top two at the zone competition held on April 25th, 26th. A challenge that they met with determination, going undefeated and securing first place. At provincials on May 2nd and 3rd, they continued their impressive run, placing first in their pool and winning all 4 of their playoff matches with consistency and composure. Ken has been playing badminton since grade 5 and Dilshan since grade 6, though this year was their first time competing as a team in the high school championships. Both are active members of the Thompson Badminton Club. Remarkably, this marks the first provincial gold medal in 9 years for a team from Thompson and Artie Parker Collegiate. A well-deserved and historic victory. Congratulations, Ken and Dilshan. Up to the front, boys, we have them. Very impressive. Thank you. Thank you. We're gonna get a picture with us here
Why don't you guys step in front of the?
in front of the owl.
Hey, come to me.
You guys go ahead.
And
It's my birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, boys. I must say, I feel very honored to do this, and I was able to follow this year as my granddaughter played badminton with you folks this year, so really appreciate you for accepting her into the badminton club. She had a great time. Thank you. Now we'll get back to business. You folks are all free to stay, or you can leave, we won't be insulted.
What you guys doing?
And Joe, it's nice to see your face. Everything for-
You can stay.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for
Great work,
attending.
guys.
Thanks for going into resolutions. 6.1 is a resolution to approve variation order 1017-25, 178 Madison Drive. Resolution 2025-10103, moved by Councillor Wong, second by Councillor Chong. Whereas the city of Thompson is in receipt of a variation order application number 1017-25-178 Madison Drive, Lot 3, Block 190, Plan 879 PLTO, North Division, for the following. Construction of an accessory building in the frontage of the yard, reducing the front yard requirements from 25 feet to 20 and reducing the side yard requirements from 3 feet to 1. foot located in a single detached residential zone R1. And whereas under the provisions of the Planning Act, a public hearing has been held to hear representations for and or against the variation order. Now therefore be it resolved that council approve variation order number 1017-25, 178 Madison Drive. Vote to administration. Yanni?
Yeah, so basically, the contractor came in for a development building permit, and then on that review, it was feel that, a variation would have to be applied for. And this is actually a rebuild of an accessory building in the required front yard, reducing the front yard requirements from 25 to 20, and reducing the side yard requirements 3 to 1 in the single detached zone. As per the planning act, it was posted and circulated for 14 days to property owners within 100 meters. And nothing's been brought forward for or against.
Thank you. Lyle?
Just for council's information again, just to make it clear, when we're talking about setbacks and front yard setbacks, just so it's clear for everybody, these setbacks are measured from the property line and not the street. So it can sometimes be misleading that when we're looking at a setback, your reduction from 25 to 20. This isn't from the front curb, this is from the property line, which is some, almost depending on the street, 8 feet up the driveway or up the property. So just so that everyone's clear, it's not measured from the road, it's measured from the property.
Thank you. And I'd also like to note there was no objections or actually anybody here tonight for the planning district meeting, so. With that, we'll go to Councillor Wong as the mover. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I will support this request and no further.
Any other comments from councillors? Call for the question. All those in favor? Approved. Six point two is a resolution to amend the resolution number 2025-087, setting the tax sale year. Resolution 2025-104, moved by Councillor Valentino, seconded by Councillor Chong. Whereas on May 26, 2025, council passed resolution number 2025-087, that the designated year for which properties in arrears be offered for sale by auction be 2023, meaning the properties with outstanding taxes 2023 or prior. And whereas it has been noted that there was an error in the resolution and that the designated year should have read 2024. And whereas council is in agreement to amend the resolution and replace the year 2023 with 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the designated year for which properties in arrears be offered for sale by auction be 2024, meaning all properties with outstanding taxes from 2023 or prior. Administration?
Nothing further.
Okay. Councillor Valentino, as the mover, do you have any comments?
I'm supporting this, clearly there was just an error typo on that May 26th resolution, so I'm fine with the correction.
Any other comments from councillors? Seeing none, call for the question, all those in favor? Carried. Six point three is a resolution to approve the installation of 14-inch valves on Oak Street. Resolution 2025-105, moved by Deputy Mayor Fitzpatrick, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Whereas the city of Thompson's water system is serviced by two main lines, 12 and 14 inches. with limited ability to isolate the 14-inch mains along Oak Street due to the lack of functioning valves. And whereas current renewal work by All Sound Underground Limited near Oak Street requires connection to the 14-inch main, which would impact water services across the city. And whereas installing two 14-inch valves on Oak Street will improve the city's ability to isolate sections of the water system without affecting full service. And whereas the total cost of the work is $225,000 plus GST, including materials, labors, equipment, and gravel restoration, and will be done overnight to minimize disruption. Therefore, be it resolved that council approve the installation of two 14-inch valves on Oak Street by LSAM Underground Limited. And be it further resolved that the project be funded through the Canada Community Business Reserve, which is our gas tax reserve. Administration?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, we've got an opportunity here. We've got, as was mentioned, we've got two lines coming out of the water treatment plant, a 12-inch and a 14-inch. The 14-inch runs straight up Oak Street. Branching off of that is another 12-inch line that goes towards Eastwood. We have no ability to really isolate that 14-inch line on Oak Street because our first valve is really up at Thompson Drive. With All Sound Underground working in the area on our ISIP capital projects, on Dominion Bay on one side of Oak Street and Confederation on the other side, we approached them about the installation of two new valves on this Oak Street line, which would then allow us to, allow Public Works to isolate areas if required without having large impact to the city. So they've provided the quotation, which is part of your briefing material tonight. In discussion with our CFO today, we have looked to our the former gas tax, the Canadian Building Fund, Community Building Fund, as a source of the funds for this. The balance of that reserve is, I believe, just over a 1.2 million right now. So taking this would just drop it to just shy of $1 million. So again, it's an opportunity in front of us. Allstat is in the area. Their site trailer is actually almost across the street from where we'd like to put one of these valves. So bringing forward for your consideration this evening.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Fitzpatrick, Council Mover?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'll support this. That's a great catch on the administration's part, and thank you for your work on that. I think it will help the city out immensely and give it better functionality for the water treatment plant overall. So I'll support this.
Thank you. Any other comments? Counselor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just try to understand this. If you want to shut down number 14, like the 14-inch, and you're not putting a 12-inch shut-off valve. So why you need two 14 then? I try to understand that part.
Yeah,
Maybe one is enough, right?
it allows greater opportunity to isolate a specific section in between if we had to with houses. Again, Public Works Director McLean isn't here tonight. This is what we discussed with him today. So it allows us to not only isolate it further down by the water treatment plant to keep that 14-inch, that 12-inch that goes towards Eastwood Live. But if we need to, we can also isolate a smaller section in the middle if we've got a smaller break and still allow the water to come around from all other sides. That's why we picked two. First one is kind of closer to the water treatment plant, and the second valve installation would be basically where the two Centennials meet. Where meet Oak Street, where the Centennial East and Centennial West meet Oak Street, there would be the second valve would go right there.
Because if I understand what you're saying, the line going towards the Oak Street, and then they branch it off 12 to us.
Yeah.
Other place. So you're going to isolate the 14, you can just put a valve after the 12, so all the water will go to 12, and then the 14 will be isolated. But now you put two in the same line.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to
It
me.
just gives us greater flexibility. And again, that's what we had talked with Public Works Director today and his team. That's what they were hoping to be able to have. To have the two of them there, it can isolate chunks and not have to. Because if we don't have the second valve really allows around the Centennial East section. If you do T's, you're supposed to have a valve on three sides of if you got it cross, usually want valves on three sides of the cross, right? So that one at Centennial East will have two on Centennial East and one there, which means we've got three lines valved with four. So again, just, I'm kind of,
I try to understand that, but
yeah,
whatever, to me, I think if you want to isolate the 12 or the 14 to able to let the 12 keep on going. All you need is one well
that's the
right after
valve,
the 12.
that's the valve that's gonna be right there, right across
But
from.
now you need another one further down, that doesn't, so, okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, I know, we talked about these valves and the importance of them over the years we've been on council and how important it is to keep up to date with them. So that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? It is carried. Just before I call for adjournment, I'd like to thank all our councillors, administration, staff, the citizens of Thompson, organizations in Thompson that have gone above and beyond this last month with the evacuees that we had in Thompson. It was definitely hard on everybody. There was 24/7 shifts at the TRCC working with people. And then we worked hard on Friday and Saturday, getting people back relocated to Lynn Lake. Nitchis still has residents at Tatasquiac there. I do believe Red Cross has a few people still in town from other communities that they are dealing with. But again, I just want to thank everybody for the hard work that went into the last month on the city's part, and the businesses that supplied the meals and that too. Thank you very much to everyone. That call for adjournment. Councillor Valentino, Councillor Wong, all in favor?